Hey gamers, so in today's discussive video, I kind of want to do a mix of that along with like a vlog to talk about how I'm probably not going to be getting the Switch 2 for a while. When I release this video, it will be the Switch 2's release date or like the night of, depending on if you're a YouTube or Patreon member, which by the way, you should totally join. It gives me money so I could potentially get the Switch 2, but I digress. I just want to talk about how I feel a bit sad that I'm going to be missing out. And I've always felt this way. I'm kind of missing out on the launch of a hot new thing, you know? So yeah, let's just get right into it. Why not? So some backstory in case you don't know. I mentioned this in other videos, but I, grew up not having that much money. I still don't have that much money. In fact, I have way less money than I did before. My family, we're not very well financially off. We struggle to get like groceries every month, to pay bills like the water bill or whatever. My mom always talks about it, and it just sucks, and we can sometimes get some expensive, high price things, like some video games or consoles every now and again, but usually has to come around for, say, a Christmas. It takes a while. And even then, these past few Christmases, we have not been getting like that much stuff because of the fact that things are more pricey and we're struggling way more now. So, I've always dealt with it, the fact of like getting consoles or games later than everyone else. With some exceptions here and there. But overall, I've always been behind. But I don't know why this year with the Switch 2, I feel that way more. Maybe it's partly because of the fact that I do have this YouTube channel and I make content on, stuff like Switch 2 stuff or games. So it's kind of more heartbreaking for me to, be left behind while everyone else covers the Switch 2 or the games that will be releasing for it. And I think another reason is because of the fact that I am an adult now. I am 20 years old, which you could argue, oh, I could make my money on my own, I don't need my mom or whatever, or to wait for a birthday or Christmas to get it. Well, that's technically true. One, I am autistic, level 2 autism to be specific, and I have very much trouble with interacting with people, getting a job, doing a lot of normal people things, neurotypical things. And because of that, the only thing I can really do is YouTube, which I love doing and it's great. But even then, I don't make a lot of money off of it. But it's still nice to do. But I can't really do much like what neurotypical people do. Will get like an actual job, especially with like socializing with people. But like because of the fact that I am an adult, it does kind of make me like, oh, I could earn that money on my own. So I kind of feeling down along with the fact that, I do this, and because of that, usually people are looking for the hot new thing. That's just how YouTube operates in general, People want to see the hot new thing. They don't want to see old games. Even though I like doing them, that's just not the reality of it. So now that's not to say that there's not a possibility that I won't get the Switch 2 in the near future. First of all, I'm kind of making this video because I'm hoping that this similar thing happens when I wanted to get a PS5 and an Xbox. In case you don't know, I made a video talking about how I hope to one day get one of those systems. And then like a few days after, I was able to get a PS5. And then eventually, like a month later, I got an Xbox. And the reason because I got that was because I sold all my physical Switch games to get a PS5, and then eventually I got enough money from other Switch games and like pawning stuff to get an Xbox. The Switch games, I traded them in at GameStop, but I was able to do that, and it was really cool, so I'm kind of hoping, something similar happens with this video. And how would that might be if I sold like all my Switch games? Well, it's because I do have ideas on how I could get a Switch 2, such as pawning, tools. We have a lot of old tools that my dad had when he was alive, and it's just been sitting in the garage for like a while. And I told my mom, I've been trying to tell my mom for the past few days, we could pawn them, but she keeps saying how, they'll only give us like $5 for it, and that's not true. Pawn shops do kind of nickel and dime you, but they give you way more than my mom thinks, that's for sure. But she's still very stubborn about it. We also have like an exercise bike. which I feel like could be an easy $500, which is what the Switch 2 costs, you know, with the Mario Kart 8 bundle. It's not really working that well, but it's still like functional. And I also have like, you know, guitars, specifically one guitar that's not on display. You guys see them in the background. I'm not talking about those, but like there's one that's not on display that we could pawn. In fact, you know what? Let me show you guys. House tour. I've already done a house tour. Well, first of all, there's this thing here, which we can totally pawn. I got this for a Christmas present for my uncle, but I don't like cars. I'm sorry. I appreciate it. But then there's also this over here, which is the exercise bike and the guitar that I mentioned. Can you guys see this? So there's that, and then can you guys see the guitar? Where is it? Yeah, right there. It's hard for me to judge because, you know, I can't flip the camera for some reason. But yeah, and just to show you guys, like, yeah, this thing does not work. Could you? Okay, does not work. But it kind of does work because, you know, I can use it, function it, like I said. So I'm just showing you guys some of the stuff. I could show you guys the tools, but I'm not going to. They're downstairs, and the car is in the way. So yeah, overall we do have options, although the problem is my mom is very stubborn about pawning stuff. Not because she's really sentimental about a lot of it. Some things she is, like the guitar, because it was my dad's, even though it's not on display and whatever, and I think it kind of doesn't work. But, you know, other things like the fact that she's thinking that you won't get a lot of money from it. And that's just the thing with my mom in general. You know, she is very old-fashioned, very, you know, limited-minded, I feel, in many ways. I've talked about this many times in other videos, especially with my personal life. But this is especially the case now, you know. And it kind of sucks, you know, because she's great. My mom is great. And, you know, she does the best she can. And she even told me if she had the money, she would give me a Switch 2. But the thing is, we could get the money, you know, at least closer to the goal. Maybe it will take a little bit of time, but yeah, overall, my mom is still very set in her old ways. Also, that's not even considering the fact that we, especially my brother, we have a lot of old technology around here that we could sell or pawn. I've been mostly talking about pawn, but we could also sell things on like eBay or whatever. The problem with eBay and like those sites is that it takes a while to get money. You could potentially get more money doing that, but it just takes longer. And I would love to have a Switch 2 sooner rather than later. One, again, for you guys, but two, because of me, you know, I really want to get a Switch 2. I want to play the games with better graphics, with better frame rates, and the new exclusive stuff like Mario Kart World, that looks cool. Donkey Kong Bonanza, like, that looks amazing. Like, I want to play these new exclusive games. And again, I've always dealt with this. I've always dealt with being left behind, you know, at least for a while. Eventually, usually I am able to get the thing. Maybe it will be only in like a few months, or sometimes it's longer, like a few years. But eventually I do get it, usually. But I still can't help but feel sad, you know, personally. And I don't want to give this just like, oh, it's like a pity party, you know? I'm just saying how I feel. If you can afford these things right away or close to right away, I'm happy for you. I really am. And, you know, I could say, oh, give me money, you know, you can donate. I would appreciate it, but I'm not gonna beg you guys for it, you know? I'm just saying that I feel sad, but, you know, eventually I will get the Switch 2 and the games soon enough. When? Who knows? It might be Christmas, though I doubt it. It might be next year or the year after. Who knows? I could get it via selling stuff, donating plasma, which is something I've talked about doing before, but my mom is also against that. Though there's also the possibility of doing a giveaway, you know, trying to participate in that. I remember doing that with the Switch 1, entering a lot of giveaways that lots of YouTubers had, and failing at each and every one of them. One time I got really close, but the last minute I lost. So yeah, that's just my luck. But you know, anything is possible. Heck, maybe I convince my mom to pawn stuff and I do get it, and you'll see a video in like 2 days or something where I unbox the system. That would be really cool. Again, here's hoping this imitates the PS5 and Xbox video I did like 2 years ago. But anyways, guys, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I kind of just wanted to talk about the fact that I'm gonna be left behind. I'm probably not gonna be doing a lot of Switch 2 content, at least of me playing the games. I'll still talk about the stuff, you know, like new information on games that come out. But, you know, I'm mostly just going to be left behind, probably. Unless, of course, you can help me. Donations, Patreon. Oh, by the way, speaking of Patreon, I do have 10 free Patreon memberships you can claim for yourself. 2 people already claimed it as of me recording this video. So there's 8 left. It might be less than that by the time this video actually releases. But check my community post. It will be the most recent thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, guys. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace. Hopefully I get a Switch 2 soon enough.